I'm Dawson Schmidt here with the latest stories and developments in this week's Commodity Roundup on Trader PhD. A large portion of the U.S. could experience much needed drought relief over the next 2 weeks. Weather patterns are setting up for heavier rainfall to reach parts of the South, Midwest, and New England over the next few days. Rainfall totals could reach 2 to 8 inches for some areas, according to government models. Now, rainfall has already started making its way across parts of the Mid-South this week, but larger totals are expected through this weekend and into next week. USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey says rainfall totals could begin to dig into drought conditions that have been impacting crop areas.
Most producers at this point will welcome this moisture to try to replenish soil moisture and improve surface water supplies. That's been a chronic issue in many of the areas that are going to see these 2 to 8 inch rainfall totals over the next 7 days.
Rippey says the impending rainfall should help turn the tide on drought conditions that have been anchored in regions since this fall and winter. While the storms are expected to bring much needed moisture to a large portion of the U.S., areas in the HRW wheat country could miss out on some of that precipitation. Brazil's summer soybean harvest is approaching the halfway point, and early harvest reports are showing some issues with yields. Brazilian consultancy firm Agrol lowered its 2025-26 soybean forecast to 178 million metric tons, a 3 million metric ton reduction from its previous forecast. The firm cited drought-related yield losses in southern Brazil, particularly in Rio Grande do Sul. The region accounts for about a quarter of the country's soybean production. Some of those losses are partially offset by higher yields in other states, such as Mato Grosso. Southern Brazil has experienced below-average precipitation throughout February, resulting in significant moisture deficits. Eric Snodgrass with Nutrient Ag Solutions says forecasts point towards drier than average weather for the next 2 weeks that could continue to impact crop forecasts. The country is expecting a record crop despite the reduction. Output is forecast to increase by nearly 3% from the previous season, driven by record acreage and strong yields. As of last week, just 39% of the soybean crop had been harvested, compared to 50% a year ago. That's also running at the slowest harvest pace since the 2020 and 2021 season. Brazil's safrinha corn planting was 66% complete as of last week, and that compared to 50% the previous week, but was still behind the 80% pace seen the same week last year. Agrol said delays in the soybean harvest have slowed winter corn planting. Producers have been accelerating their pace as best as they can to avoid planting too much outside of the ideal window. U.S. beef production fell to its lowest level since 2017 last year. While that is a steep drop from previous years, higher cattle weights have helped offset some of those declines. U.S. cattle slaughter fell 6.4% in 2025, but record cattle weights translated to beef production only dropping 3% compared to the previous year. Tight domestic cattle supplies have been the driving force for strong prices. Longer days on feed have been a rising trend for feedlots, and while meat packers continue to need supplies, demand has not been accelerated to the point of cattle slaughter weights being reduced. The latest USDA data pinned the average live cattle slaughter weight at a record 1,464 pounds in January. While record weights have helped cushion beef supplies in the past, sharper declines in cattle slaughter are expected to continue weighing on domestic production. Thanks for watching. I'm Dawson Schmidt, and this has been Trader PhD.